Good afternoon. We would ask that everyone please stand as we pay tribute to the Pledge of Allegiance by our own graduating senior, Alice Espinoza.
Good afternoon. My name is Alice Espinoza. I am a 2014 graduate of John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center. Will you please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag and to the Texas flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. You may be seated. Please allow me to introduce our principal, Mr. Dwayne Simmons.
Parents, teachers, family, and friends, welcome to the commencement ceremony honoring the graduating class of 2014 John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center Lions. The great Orrin Hatch wrote that graduation is not the end, rather it is the beginning. By reaching this great milestone, you have unlocked the door to a better tomorrow. High school days are now over, but your future awaits. Your tomorrow will be defined by you and only you. We are and forever will be Patton Lions, bold, courageous, and fearless. Embrace these traits as you continue to strive for greatness. As this chapter closes and you burst into new beginnings, know that the sky truly is the limit. I join with everyone here today to say, job well done. I am pleased to announce next, Mrs. Liz Onserio.
Hello and welcome. My name is Liz Onserio, and I'm honored to be a speaker on behalf of my graduating class. I want to thank all the teachers and staff that are here today, as well as all of our friends and family. In a normal commencement speech, I'd say something to the effect of, over the past 4 years, we've learned so much and grown together and so on. But this isn't a typical graduation, and our school isn't quote-unquote normal. Patton is for late bloomers and people who have lost their way, and all of us on this stage have a story. Some of us have had kids or had to be the providers of our family or just took a trip left and haven't really come back. And while all of us have been dragged through the mud, some deeper than others, we've all made it to this point, and that deserves a round of applause. During this speech, I'm supposed to inspire and motivate the people standing on the stage to move forward or to shoot for the stars and maybe give a meaningful quote. But whatever I say or whatever I do, I can't make you do anything. All of that is completely up to you. What I can tell you is that people have moved mountains to see us to this point, including all the teachers that are sitting here and everybody on stage and all of our family. And we've all conquered our own personal giants. So keep moving forward. Keep climbing if you want to keep feeling this way and succeeding in life. And next, allow me to introduce my fellow graduate, Montrellen Parker, with his address to the class.
Good afternoon, peers, faculty, and family. I'm Montrellen Parker, I'm a John Leslie Patton graduate of 2014 class. Before I begin, I want to say that as young men and women of our day and age, I believe we shouldn't lead others based on how we've seen it done previously, but we should lead others based on our own example. So therefore, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. This is the end of this chapter in our lives, but we never stop learning. Let us learn to become a better me instead of copying others and learning to become a better them. Let us learn to build positive and lasting bridges that will pave the way for future success. Let us learn that we are the voice of the future, so we are the ones that can make a difference. Let us learn that we are now responsible for ourselves, and it is up to us to learn from our accomplishments as well as our mistakes to be able to discover our own potential. As young adults, we should take this day, our graduation day, as a turning point in our lives. This day, we should break free from our dependency and become the leaders we're meant to be. There is more than one way to become a leader, as well as many paths to leadership. Do not choose to stand still. Do not choose to stay stuck in the past. Choose to move forward. Do not choose to stand still. Choose to move forward. Because as the great John F. Kennedy once said, "For time and the world do not stand still. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future." Do not miss your future, because we're sitting on the precipice of success. Congratulations to all my fellow graduates for making it, and congratulations to all the friends and family who have stuck by us through the hard times and helped us push forward. And a special thanks to all those teachers and staff members who went the extra mile to ensure our success today. As anxious as we are to get out of here, we are just as eager to take the knowledge and skills that our teachers at Patton have imprinted on us. We will forever be grateful for the role you all have played in our success here, and it will not be forgotten. And in conclusion, I'll finish with a quote from Pope John Paul II. "The future starts today, not tomorrow." Now, my fellow graduate, Ray Shaw Johnson, will read a poem that he has written for this special occasion.
I am Rashad Johnson, class graduate of 2014. I have this poem that I wanted to say to my mother, dearly, my beloved mother. It's called Mama, No More Tears. Mama, no more tears. The journey has took me years. This is one battle that has came to an end. Through all the mud, sticks, rocks, and bends. I had the devil on my shoulders telling me to quit. The fighting had me weak a bit. Mama, I can't do it, I ran. Yes, you boy can. Never say you can't. Never give up and put your mind to it. Encourage is when I went back to school to use my wit. I gave it my all and put up my toys. Mama said, it's all or nothing, boy. Family on my side, teachers on my side. We made it. There's the door. Mama, you do not have to cry anymore. And now Jadarian Brown, my fellow graduate, would introduce the board members.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jadarian Brown, a proud 2014 graduate of John Leslie Patton. Today I'll be introducing a woman who needs no introduction. She has served 8 years on the DISD Board of Trustees. She is an outstanding supporter of John Patton Academic Center. With that, would y'all please help me welcome Ms. Carla Ranger.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Brown, proud 2014 graduate. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It is just invigorating seeing all of you out there here to celebrate our graduates today. This is always the most delightful time for me during the year of my board service, because I get to come to celebrate our graduates who have worked very diligently and have been very dedicated to a goal. So I appreciate the fact that you, family, friends, guests who just decided to just come to this graduation, I appreciate that you are here. And I know that they do too. Because as a matter of fact, I'm sure that there are some parents here and some grandparents here who many years ago, over 12 years ago, wished for this day as you looked at your student. Many of you took their little hands in the first grade, walked them into school, and at that time dreamed of this day. Is anybody here who had that dream years ago? Oh, yes. And even though you didn't know the date or the day, the exact day of the week, you wanted this day to happen. And it is. And you're here to celebrate with them. I know that they're grateful. And there's another group of people for whom they are grateful. As was mentioned before by one of our graduating seniors, they're very proud of the faculty and staff at John Leslie Patton and the principal, the administrative staff, and all that they have done to help them reach this point, because it wasn't an easy journey. So we don't often get to thank them. All of us get to thank them, but I would like for the entire staff, teachers, administrators at Patton, I want you to see them. You saw them walking in behind, you saw them from the back. I want them to turn around so that you can see them. Their students know them. Will you all stand up? All of the administrators, all associates. Oh yeah, you know what to do. That's right. Let them know how much we appreciate them. We thank you. Thank you so much. Because these are people who are with our students many hours during the day, but they're also doing much to think about how they can succeed and what they can do for them after school, before school, in the evening when they should be engaged with their families. They are thinking about your students and what they can do for them. So I want you to know how much I appreciate this, how much I appreciate you, how much I appreciate all of your service, as well as your care and your love for our graduating seniors. I think they deserve one more round of applause, led by, of course, Principal Simmons. For just a few minutes, I want to share something that is on my heart to share with these graduates, because I know that we're delighted, we're happy about graduation today. But I want you to know that though you're graduating from high school today, in the morning, you're going to have to be back in school. Did you all forget to tell them that, teachers? You're going to be, you have to, bright and early when you wake up tomorrow morning. Do all of your celebrations today, but bright and early, you've got to be back in school. Did you tell them that, Mr. Simmons? Did you have, all right. And let me tell you, it is a school in which you didn't have to enroll. You were already enrolled, pre-enrolled. You don't have to pay a tuition. You don't have to worry about getting a grant or a scholarship. And you're going to have many classes there. Some you want to take, some you won't want to take. Because the school you will be going to first thing in the morning, and some of you really in a way have already started that school. You graduate from high school, and tomorrow morning you will be going to the School of Life. You will start first thing in the morning. Now, I know some of you have had some orientation courses. Some of you had some exposure to that school, but it is nothing like what's going to begin for you tomorrow, because you have a greater responsibility. Now, you're a graduate from high school, and life is waiting there. The doors are open, and class is already in session. And for that school, you're going to need many of the supplies that you needed to be successful at Patton. But there's one in particular that I know you already have that I want to remind you of, and I want you to take in great supply, put it in your backpack, because it's going to have to be developed. And that one supply, that one character trait you're going to need is courage. Take with you in your backpack courage. Because as the magnificent Maya Angelou said, it takes courage, or that is the virtue we must have in order to consistently practice every other virtue. It takes courage to have faith, because there's so many forces out there that will try to prevent you from keeping and holding on to faith. It takes courage to have hope. It takes courage to dream, because there's some people who just refuse to dream. They may think about next year, and after that, no, I don't have any dreams. It took courage, and I know you already have some of it. It took courage for you to come to Patton, to stick with it, to persevere, and to be at this point today. But you're going to need even more of that courage to be successful in the school of life. Let me tell you a little story about a gentleman who exhibited that, one of our graduates. His name was George Dawson. Lived in South Dallas. He wanted to go to school to learn to read. And so George got his backpack, and he was off to school. And the first day he had to learn his ABCs. He wanted to learn to read. Oh, that was his dream. And he wanted to learn to write. And so he was off to school, and he did learn to read. He did learn to write. The one thing that kept him going, that kept him there, was courage. And let me tell you why it was so significant for George Dawson to have courage. Because George Dawson went to school for the first time when he was 98 years old. All of his life, he dreamed of going to school. He was a little black boy, born in East Texas, never had the opportunity to go. Got married, went to the Army, had children, made sure they went to school and got an education, but he was never able to go to school. There weren't any schools there for little black children years ago. He was born in 1898 and lived until 2003, I believe. He lived to be 103 years old, but went to school for the first time at age 98. And for him to take his backpack, which he did, to walk into Lincoln, the annex, to learn to read took a lot of courage. But he did. And we were all very proud when he continued to go to school every day, didn't miss a day until he became very famous. Everybody found out that he learned to read in 98, so he was invited to be on Oprah and then invited to different places, got to travel throughout the United States. But whenever he was here, he went to school every day. And he learned to read, he learned to write. And he said it felt so good to him to be able to sign his name in cursive for the first time, because all of his life, for 98 years, he had been signing his name with an X. That took courage. Now, if George Dawson, at age 98, had the courage to go to school, because he had actually been all through many classes in the school of life, but he had the courage to hold on to his dream. He had the courage to tell the people, yes, I want to go to school. They were looking for other youngsters who had dropped out of school and came by his house. He said, I want to go. But he had the courage to do it. He had valor. He had courage, and so he stuck with it. Well, courage is what you have too. You already have it in you. You may have a small amount. Some may have a little bit more. But you've shown that you have courage. How many times, or is there anybody in the graduating class who at one time or another thought of maybe dropping out, or you couldn't do it, or it was difficult? Raise your hand. Have the courage to raise your hand if you thought about that. I'm so proud of you because you had the courage to stick with it. You had the courage to stay in. And I think those who thought about leaving, thought about dropping out, but they stayed on, they exhibited courage, we ought to give them all a hand. You know, it takes courage, it took courage to do your homework when you could have been doing something else, when your friends were doing something else. That took some courage. It took courage to be respectful to your beautiful, wonderful teachers and respectful to your parents and your loved ones when they were encouraging you or when they told you to do what you didn't want to do. It took courage to be in the right place at the right time, to be on time, to be at school every day. It took courage to say yes to all of that. It took courage also to say no when someone offered you a substance that you knew you should not take or have. When someone asked you to party instead of doing your work. When someone told you, well, it's okay. You don't have to worry about babysitting. Somebody else will keep your children. You come on, let's go. We've got to go out this evening. We've got things to do. It took courage to say no to that. So I'm asking you to keep a great supply of courage in your backpack, in your heart, in your soul, and develop it. Now, courage doesn't come as a large virtue initially. You have to keep working at it. You have to keep developing it. It takes courage to stand when everybody else around you is sitting down. It takes courage to speak up and say, well, no, I don't think that's right, when everybody else is saying, oh, yeah, we got to go with this. This is right. It takes courage. And you've got to have that in you. So I want you to think about whenever you need it. I want you to take that, and I use this C, my hand. This is my C. And I think sometimes, because believe it or not, I've been in the school of life many years. But I still have to develop courage. I take my hand and I take that C, and sometimes it's down beside me. And when I need it, it helps me to remember I've got to have courage, because it's not going to be easy. You can have the courage, but there are going to be some circumstances that will intimidate you. Everybody, many people out there, they're already in the school of life. We have challenges. We have everything around us that seems to be going wrong, but it takes courage to say, I'm going to face the fear and do it anyway. I wrote something for you that I used with some younger students just the other day when I was telling them about being courageous, having courage, valor in Espanol. You are lions here at Patton. And you know, a lion is brave, a lion is courageous, and I want you every day, and you may want to go home and just write it on a little card and put it in your wallet or put it in your pocket. Write this: today I will be courageous. I will be a bright, shining light. Today, the courage within me will help me succeed and do what's right. Now, if you get up every morning, there are going to be some days when you won't have enough money. There'll be some days that you'll wonder, can I do this job? There'll be some days if you've decided you're going on to college, or you're going to the military, or you're going to culinary school or cosmetologist school, or you're going to get some more training. There'll be some days that it will take the courage just to get up out of the bed. Anybody had that experience? Where it took some courage to get out of the bed that morning because of everything else that was going on around you? It will take courage to go in and just say good morning to the rest of the family because of the nightmare you had the night before. But if you will get up and take yourself to your bathroom mirror and say, today I will be courageous. I will be a bright, shining light. Because everybody has a light in them. I told the class last year that everybody has a little light. You got to let it shine. And you will determine how brightly it will shine. But today, I will be courageous. I will be a bright, shining light. I will use the courage within me to help me succeed and do what's right. Doesn't mean you still won't be afraid, but you take that C and you march on facing the fear with courage. So I want you to stand so we can say that together. Stand up and let's say that together. To our parents, to our loved ones, to our friends, to our teachers. All right, you ready? Now let me tell you, when you say I will be courageous, you can't say, today I will be courageous. Because that doesn't sound like very much courage. You got to stand tall, and it may hurt you to pull those shoulders back or to speak up. But when you talk to yourself in the mirror that morning, every morning, and you can carry it on a little card, paste it there on the mirror so you can say it. Oh, and I see some of you smiling. You're ready to do this because I see they had a lot of courage to get to this point of graduate. Don't they look beautiful in that green and gold? They are flying high. All right. Now, this is your message to your loved ones who are going to look forward to you being courageous, and I bet they're going to help you in every way. All right, you ready? And you're going to say it so they can hear you, and those who couldn't come today, they'll hear you too. All right? Today, I will be courageous. Was that? No. See? All right. Now, let's say you're on American Idol, and that was the barometer for people to call in. You didn't get many calls, did the audience? No, you got to do better than that. Do you believe that we're going to be courageous with them saying that way? Not really. Because you already, you've shown courage, and I know you're going to have a little bit more, so I want you to really tell them. Tell them. Tell your teachers for all they've done for you. Tell your parents, your loved ones, your friends. You're going to say, today I will be courageous. See, because if you say it real weakly, that's right. Now, that sounds better. If you say it weakly in the mirror, you're not going to get it. Okay, now on the count of 3, I want you to say it again. 1, 2, 3. Today, I will be courageous. All right, now turn to them. Tell them. That was better. Yeah. Today, I think they believed you that time. So let's start again. Today, I will be courageous. I will be a bright, shining light. I will be a bright, shining light. Say that. I will use the courage within me. I will use the courage within me to succeed and to do what's right. You believe them? I think they'll do it. All right. Now, I want you all to sit down because I want you to be courageous. And audience, I want you now. We always participate. You always help me, or every audience graduating class with Patton, you've helped me with the speech. I want you to stand up, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to tell our graduates. All right? Stand. Now, I want you to help affirm in them that they are courageous. So I want you to say, you have courage and you are courageous. And let me tell you, when you see that they may be slowing down, they may be depressed, they may be a little bit upset, you take that C, quietly give it to them. Give it to them. Give it to them. And you say, you have courage. You are courageous. So on the count of 3, I want us to tell them, like we believe in them and we know they will succeed. I want us to tell them, you. And you can call one of your students' names if you want to, but you, yeah. Okay. You on the count of 3. See how much they believe in you, students? They believe. All right. Now, On the count of 3. I think they've heard their names, and you keep it because that's the sweetest sound to us. You're going to tell them. All right. See, they're real excited. Okay. All right. Okay, now, as we give them what we believe, that you have courage and you are courageous. On the count of 3, I want you to tell them that, and we're going to say that to them 3 times, okay? Remember, you have courage and you are courageous. They need to hear that. 1, 2, 3. You have courage and you are courageous. You have courage and you are courageous. You have courage and you are courageous. Remain standing. Remain standing because I want to hear from them. When you're feeling low, what do you have? When you don't have much money in your pocket, what do you still have? When you need a friend and you need someone to talk to, you're going to have this to go up to them. What will you have? And to succeed and do the right thing, what will you have? I believe them, and let's show them we do. Thank you, Mr. Simmons.
We're going to ask for Sydney Estevane to come down. Your graduate has asked that you treat this exercise with the utmost respect. Every graduate deserves to hear his or her name announced. Please refrain from using any noisemakers, horns, bells, yells, or any other distractors that are not conducive to maintaining the dignity and grandeur of this event. We ask that you hold your applause and congratulatory yells until after all names have been called so that the next name called can be heard clearly. Your assistance will help provide the very best graduation for each student. Thank you in advance for your cooperation to ensure a dignified graduation ceremony.
Los alumnos graduados han pedido que trate este evento con mucho respeto. Cada graduado merece oír su nombre anunciado. Por favor, absténgase de utilizar matracas, bocinas, campanas, gritos o cualquier otro distractor que no sea apropiado para el mantenimiento de la dignidad y la grandeza de este evento. Le pedimos que mantenga sus aplausos y gritos de felicitación hasta que todos los nombres hayan sido llamados para que el nombre de la próxima persona llamada pueda ser escuchado claramente. Su cooperación ayudará a proporcionar la mejor graduación para cada estudiante. Gracias de antemano por su cooperación para asegurar una digna ceremonia de graduación.
And just before we certify the grads, please allow a few moments to introduce our great panel. And please stand when I call your name. We have our Division I Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Mauricio Dominguez. The John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center Executive Director, Mrs. Cherie Washington. Assistant Principal of the John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center, Tamikia Lane. Program Development Specialist of the John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center, Derwin Dukes. And our awesome, dynamic speaker that gave the address today. She has been an awesome supporter of the John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center. As a matter of fact, she knew Dr. Patton, and she is very passionate about our students, our school, and she has fought to ensure that our students are able to graduate. So without her, today would not happen. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Carla Ranger. And Mrs. Ranger, please come forward, please. This says, Outstanding Service Award presented to Carla Ranger in grateful appreciation of your service and dedication to the students of John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center. Please stand one more time and give Ms. Carla Ranger a hand. As principal of the John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center, I hereby affirm that each candidate has met all the requirements for graduation as determined by the state of Texas and the Dallas Independent School District, and they are qualified to receive their diplomas, or they are otherwise qualified to participate in this graduation ceremony consistent with the laws of the state of Texas and the Dallas Independent School District.
As Assistant Superintendent of the Division 1 of the Dallas Independent School District, I am pleased to confirm the certification of the 2014 graduating class of John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center.
As trustee of the Dallas Independent School District, I am pleased to present diplomas to our 2014 graduates of John Leslie Patton.
Ariana Nicole Behena. Giovanni Baltazar. Jadarin Lashard Brown. To Darius Gerard Curry. Cappuccino Dotsie. Michael Shea Dunn. Alice Espinoza. Cindy Berenice Estevane. Giselle Fernandez. Devontae Fields. Valerie Gomez Martinez. Christina Ramiro Gonzalez. Dalen Green. Davion Joe Heckard. Jacobus Dante Hemphill. Janelle Yvette Jaramillo. Oscar Jimenez. Keandria Lachey Johnson. Rayshard Bernard Johnson. Rudolph Valentino Johnson, Jr. Fatima Dashwanik Jules. Ashley Maldonado. LeJerick M. Moore. Vanessa Morales Camillo. Jocelyn Guadalupe Navarro. Daryl Nichols. Elizabeth Onserio. Edwin Jahil Antivaros. Abraham Ortega. Montrellen D. Parker. George Piper II. Johnny Rojas. Crystal Suzette Romo. Jesus Alberto Salinas. Nazi Othniel Yehuda Tafari. Samir Tesfa Michael. Ciandra Denise Walker.
Will the class of 2014 please stand? All right, we have one more process. One more process. Move your tassels from left to right. I now present to you the graduated class of 2014 John Leslie Patton Jr. Academic Center Lions.